Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So today we get to take a look at the latest generation for the BMW M3 Competition. Huge shout out to 704 Exotics for providing this family sedan for me today. Take a look at their website. They're always getting in some very cool inventory. That link is down in the description. This M3 is finished off in the very popular Brooklyn Gray Metallic. MSRP start right around $85,000. And this is powered by the 3-liter inline 6-cylinder twin turbo engine. It's paired to the 8-speed automatic transmission. With the Competition, the horsepower is bumped up to 503. This has 479 pound-feet of torque. That power is sent through the xDrive all-wheel drive system, propelling this 3,400-pound sedan from 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds. Top speed is 180 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 15.6 gallons. You'll expect to see around 16 miles per gallon in the city, 22 out on the highway. This has a wheelbase of 112.5 inches. Its overall length is 189.1. It has a width of 74.3, a height of 56.5, and its ground clearance measures in at 4.8 inches. As we move on to the exterior styling now for this M3 Competition, there's a few goodies for this particular model that are not from the factory. So we'll start off with the carbon fiber front splitter, which is an add-on. I think it looks very nice. It does look like it could be a factory piece. There's also some carbon fiber in the large inlets on both sides, which I believe could be factory, but it's again a nice addition to see. And for the massive kidney grille, it looks like we have a lot more cutouts in this particular model. There's a sensor on one side for the adaptive cruise, forward-facing camera, M3 badge as well, and then it even has the optional 50 years BMW badge up front. Now this does have the laser light LED headlights along with the DRLs and turn signal. There's also parking sensors up front too, and some nice lines in the front section of the hood to match nicely with the upper section of that grille. I think it just has a really nice aggressive design to it. Now as we work our way to the side, this M3 is also lowered. I'm not sure on that height, but everything gives it a flush design, especially with these stock wheels. So we have a staggered setup. They're 19 inches up front, 20 inches in the rear. Finished off in gloss black with that multi-spoke design, another 50 years badge, and then the M Sport brakes are finished off in red. There's the M3 comp badge just behind that, and then gloss black in the lower section of the side skirt there. I believe you can also get that in carbon fiber. You can also get the mirror caps in carbon fiber as well. These are power folding with the turn signal and a camera. All the window trim is blacked out to match that as well. And one thing I have never seen on any M3 comp that I have filmed, we have a sunroof for this model. There's no carbon fiber for the roof. It's gloss black with the sunroof. So that is a very rare spec that I have never seen before. So if you want this with a sunroof, it is possible to do. The rest of the side profile has a really nice design to it. And then in back, there's the gloss black trunk mounted spoiler, backup camera with all the parking sensors, more gloss black in that lower diffuser, and then that quad tip dual exhaust. We can take a listen to that because this does have remote start, so triple tap on that lock button and it will come to life. And then you can triple tap on that button again to shut it off as needed. And then you can use the button on the key fob or the one to the left of the backup camera for the power trunk to open up. Now, being a family style sedan, you have plenty of space in the back. There's a net on the left side, a cubby over on the passenger side. No storage underneath the floor, so there's no spare tire, but you can also fold down the back seats. So pull on both of those tabs, and that gives you a lot more practicality for this, just depending on the items that you have. And then you can close and lock it using both of those controls up top. And then another cool feature is the fact that you can actually put all 4 windows down just by holding on unlock. So by doing that, on a hot day like right now, all 4 windows are going to drop, which is really cool to see. Now you can't put them back up, but that is a nice another key feature to have. Another one is also by being able to grab the back door handles. So that way you don't have to grab the front door handle. If you have kids, you can quickly get into the back. Now you'll notice that this has the solid red leather interior. There's ambient lighting, carbon carton for the sound system, storage space down below as well. And then that works its way to the 2-tone back seats. There's also the BMW color stitched on the seat belts as well. And at 5'10", I actually have a good bit of space. There's no storage pockets behind either front seat, but there's climates with all the adjustments, some auxiliaries, and then I have about an inch or so above my head So for this size, being the 3 Series here, it's actually pretty comfortable. I could definitely ride around in the back. Now there's no cup holders or armrest in the middle. However, you can fold that middle seat down, use that as an armrest if you need to, or just to gain access to the back. And then it's very open feeling for your backseat passengers. So it's not all that small of a sedan. Now up front, we have the memory seating controls, lock and unlock, all the window adjustments, side mirror controls, even a trunk release too, and then additional storage. M3 is down on the door sill, and then take a look at the front seats for this M3. Very nice lateral support to them. All of the automatic adjustments are down below, along with the manual adjustment for that leg support. And then this is a low vehicle. It's actually lower because the whole vehicle is lowered, so it's easy to get into. We have the solid M steering wheel that is heated. There's carbon fiber accents on it. On this left side, there's all the cruise and adaptive cruise control settings. Right side, there's volume tuning as well as Bluetooth and voice commands. Massive carbon fiber paddle shifters, and then M1 and M2. That is how you can configure the different driving modes. As you can see right now, that is how it is currently set up. So you have shortcuts for all of those settings. Let's fire this back up though. Take a listen to this M3 comp. And coming back to the digital gauge cluster, on the left side, there's miles per hour and the fuel level. On the right side, there's the tach along with engine temperature, what gear the vehicle is currently in. Now you can go through a lot more info using this button right in the middle. So if I push on that once, we can scroll through various content, just depending on what you would like to see. So you have a little bit that you can scroll through and get to as needed. And then you have music. You also have this last one here for your G-force meter. Now you can actually change how the tach is configured by pushing on M mode down below. So when we do that, we have road and sport. Sport mode is going to change it to where now you have the tach and miles per hour along with what gear you're in front and center, few vitals on that right side, and then your driving modes over on the left side. However, you can still go through that in a little bit smaller of a screen. So just depending the driving that you're doing, very neat to see those adjustments. And it will also change on the head-up display as well. Now over on this left side, there's a little bit of storage down below, along with all the headlight adjustments, more of that interior lighting with one air vent. And then as we work our way to the infotainment system, it's pretty easy to go through this new system. It's fairly similar to the outgoing model. There's the rotary dial down below that you can use as well, along with all of these shortcuts. So if we start on home, we have the navigation along with media, you have setup, and various widgets that you can go through just depending on what you would like to see. You can even add them as needed. Now on this left side, there's shortcuts to the navigation to pull that up in full screen, along with your phone and audio, and then back to these various settings for your Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You can go through all of your climates and pull up a lot of info depending on what you need to see. Now in the lower section, all of this is fixed for your climates. So you can get into the heated seats as well as the climate adjustments, and the temperatures are also on both sides. So those are always going to be readily available. Now there's more carbon fiber and brushed aluminum just underneath that. It surrounds both of the air vents. There's power and volume for the radio, tuning, hazards, and then a few defrosters. More carbon fiber surrounds all the controls, as well as the lid that covers your wireless charging, auxiliaries, and cup holders. Very easy to open and close that. There's all the controls for that screen. And then with the new gear shifter, we push it left and up. It will hold in place for the 360 camera system. So there's a few pinpoints that you can get to. You can even go to the 360 camera itself and use these here to further see around the entire vehicle. There's also another top-down view if you need to pull that up. Now in order to get to the full forward-facing camera, let's put it into drive and then use this camera button, and that will provide you with the forward-facing angle. Now if you bump that over one more time, that's for sport mode, so you can shift using that, or the massive paddle shifters. Park is going to be on the back side, and then you can also adjust how slow or quick you want the transmission to shift. Very cool option for this. Now there's also traction control, parking sensors, the engine start stop feature, and then there's a setup button. If you push on setup, this is how you can get into M1 and M2. So this is how the vehicle is currently set up when you go into M1, you can have it in the Sport setting or Sport Plus or Comfort, and then M2, you can do the same thing as well. So for today's video, M2 will have Sport Plus. I will put everything in Comfort or Efficient for M1. So that way you can program these buttons and you can hear the exhaust as well in the revs. You can have it off or on depending on the mode. So really cool to have that quickly accessible. Behind that, there's also the exhaust note button, auto hold, and the e-brake. A little bit of storage in the center armrest, and then the glove box also has an ample amount of space. Now up top, there's some garage door buttons underneath the rear view mirror, and a first for me, showing you the sunroof operation for the M3 Comp. So we'll use that control there to open up the sunshade, which is power operated, and then from there, we can also open up the sunroof. So if you're not looking for the carbon fiber roof, you want the sunroof adjustment, you can do that for this M3. And then as far as visibility goes, it's very easy to see over that right side, and then just as easy to see out of those windows over the left side. As we set up now behind the wheel for the BMW M3, I always love getting behind the wheel because this is a vehicle that I could actually see myself buying just with what it has to offer and the fact that it's a practical sedan, but it also has some pretty crazy horsepower and performance specs to make this a fun, performance-oriented vehicle that you can throw the kids or other people in the back. You can also opt for the 6-speed manual transmission. You can't get it with the Competition, so what I'll call the base M3 allows you to get the manual. So you have a few different options, which is pretty cool to see, and the fact that you have a sunroof option too. Like I mentioned earlier, every M3 that I've checked out has always had the carbon fiber roof. So you can actually get a sunroof in an M3 Comp. And with a mild acceleration, we're up to speed. That was with the transmission shifts in the quickest setting. I think that's also another really cool feature with this car, because just depending on how you want to drive this for the day, hopefully you can hear that delay in shifts. I went all the way down. You have several different ways that you can drive this. It will also be very aggressive in just the normal setting. So you can hear how quickly those shifts are. They let you go up a little bit high in the RPM range, even in the automatic setting, which I think is so cool because you can set this up for mountain driving, track driving. You can set this up for daily driving. If you don't want to be that harsh, you want it to be more of a smoother ride, it just makes it that much more daily driver friendly with all of those options. And then as far as driving this on a daily basis, I've never owned one, but I've driven enough of them to know that this is going to be a really comfortable vehicle to drive. This particular Model 2 is on a set of aftermarket springs, I believe. I don't think it's a full coilover set, but with the springs that are on this, it's riding nice. I don't have any complaints with it. I'm not doing any performance driving, but of course, lowering a vehicle will help with handling. It took that turn very well at some slower speeds, but it feels really good. So of course you have different options. You have aftermarket options, a lot of aftermarket support for BMWs in general. So if you're looking for a car that you want to mod, this is a platform that is going to give you a lot that you can do with. You can go with rear wheel drive, all wheel drive, manual, automatic. You have so many different options for this sedan to dial it in to how you want to drive your car. And then in sport mode, second gear, here we go. And this is a quick car. 0 to 60 in under 3.5 seconds, which I'm not testing today. With all-wheel drive, it's definitely going to give you the traction that you need to get times similar to that. And just with a mild acceleration like that, it is very, very quick. Even with the automatic, I've been in the manual, which I think is more fun, but in the automatic here with these paddles and the 8-speed, it's equally as fun. Shifts, like I said, they're quick when you have them in that, and then slow when you have them in the slow setting. So it's however you decide to set it up. But this is what it's like being behind the wheel for the M3 Competition with the all-new infotainment system, which is growing on me. I know a lot of people like the split screen design from the previous models, but the more that I'm in the newer models, the more that I am getting used to them. I think everything is really easy. It's the same user interface, just a little bit different of a design. But for $85,000 roughly, these can creep up to the high 90s, depending on options that you go with. You have, and then of course it can go lower, maybe 70s or so for a baseline. You have a lot of different options for this sedan. I love all the materials on this particular model. Pretty much fully spec'd out on the interior. We're missing some exterior goodies that were added afterwards. But it's so comfortable. These seats are really nice. And it's a great place to be. Like I mentioned earlier, this is a car that I'm highly considering for some point in the future when I need a little bit more space and my sports car is not going to be enough. Putting little Recaros in the back and getting either the manual or this, I'd probably go for the manual. This would be a fun family option to go with. I love driving performance-oriented vehicles, and so this would check all of the boxes if you just need that much more practicality, but you still want some fun. This car is going to handle just like a coupe. Just it's that good of a sedan from BMW. BMW really knows how to make a lot of their cars drive how the drivers want them to. And I think that's awesome because this is something that you can take straight to the track from the factory and just have a ton of fun behind the wheel. But I think that's going to wrap it up for the BMW M3 Competition. Once again, a huge shout out to 704 Exotics for providing this family style and performance oriented sedan for me today. Take a look at their website. That link is down in the description below. And if you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up. Consider smashing that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.